Welcome to this quiet review of A Quiet Place Part 2. I thought it was a good movie, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty much... Yeah, I mean, I don't get how anyone didn't sneeze through this whole movie, and like no one, that didn't draw anyone. Whatever, doesn't matter. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Minkblot Movie Nights. I said I was gonna do this for Tenet. I filmed something for it, didn't like it, so we're moving on. We'll review Tenet at another point in a podcast probably, so go watch Getting Groovy if you haven't seen that, but this is gonna be something I'm posting today because the movie just came out, A Quiet Place Part 2, and we could go to the theaters to see it now. Isn't that crazy? Wow, it's almost like we're people again. But in this movie, people suck. So the whole idea of the movie, you got John Krasinski, you got Emily Blunt, you got a couple kids, you got Cillian Murphy. They're all, you know, a big bunch of people trying to survive in this world that is now run by aliens that hate to hear sounds for some reason. They don't really say why or have any context as to why they're killing everyone, but all we know is that there's aliens and they are pissed. Let's get into the review. You know, just pretty shooting from the hip here. I'll kind of weave between like story and character. I wrote some notes down, so I've been trying to make this review based off the notes, but it just keeps getting messed up. So let's get into it. Let's do the movie. So the first scene is day one in the apocalypse of this world. John Krasinski just, you know, going to get some apples, picking them up, grabbing them in the air as a movie character does. I don't think anyone has done that in real life where they picked up an apple and catch it, but I seem to see it all the time. Shit pops off, yo. Not trying to like spoil anything, but the first scene, you kind of knew something was gonna explode, but fantastic way to start this movie. I was very engaged right away. Things were exploding. I knew the location, so that's pretty crazy. I kind of know where things are in this world of the movie to like in relation to my life because I'm from Buffalo. Shout out, by the way, everyone that worked on this movie from this area. Hope there's more shot here and I could maybe be a part of it. But overall, I'm not gonna be like jealous or anything. So, but yeah, this movie overall, it was definitely more of an action-based movie than a horror-based movie like the first one, because right after that first day one scene, it skips to, you know, right after the events of the first one, and then that turns into them trying to survive in the real world rather than, you know, just being protected by bearded Jim. So they did a really good job of world building. I think going from the first one where it was very insular and like only in one location, they kind of ventured out and created a bigger understanding of how other people reacted to this. That was really cool because I always like apocalypse movies. I'm a big Fallout guy. This definitely channeled a lot of the Buffalo look of Fallout that I saw into like, you know, their own apocalypse thing, which you gotta respect. Our city is great, but it kind of looks like shit sometimes. The Grand Island Bridge was cool. That looked really good. The forest scenes were cool, but why do we have all of that rundown architecture? That should be nice stuff, but I guess it makes for good movie locations, so why fix it? But yeah, the story overall, I thought it was good. I thought it did its job in terms of expanding on the first one, but I will say it probably could have stepped a little bit further. The ending, I think, was a good close to the characters themselves. Like the change of the characters and the direction of them was kind of, you know, satisfied, but there's just a little bit more loose ends that I would have liked. So you can't make a perfect movie a lot of the time, but I think overall it was an enjoyable movie. It was thrilling. It was engaging. I freaked out sometimes. Bear traps are the worst things that I've ever even thought of, and seeing that was awful. The actors, they did great performances overall. Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, Cillian Murphy. The two kids, I gotta mention their names because holy shit, these guys, they're laying it down in the emotional scale, I guess you could say. Yeah, so Millicent Simmons is Reagan Abbott, and Noah Jupe is Marcus Abbott. Baby did a great job. The baby was a baby. But these kids, holy shit, dude. They are on par with the adults of this movie, and that's insane. But we can move on, because, you know, they did a good job. I respected the emotional range of the children. All right, baby, good work. The sound aliens, which were the other characters that I will mention in the non-spoiler part. Holy shit, dude, these things are terrifying. You definitely got more of a look at these guys in this movie than you did in the first one. Obviously, if the budget's higher, it's, you know, gonna happen. But I think they did a really good job with the visual effects, like blending them all into the environment and like affecting the surroundings and creating a scary world that you're like on your toes with. It felt very real. I mean, the aliens kind of fed off of the sound. So whenever sound was happening, you knew something bad was going to happen, which is a terrifying way to set up a character in a movie. So that was really good. There was a couple things with the aliens where it was kind of weird, where they kind of backed off a little bit sooner than I expected, or the sound kind of affected them more, or something happened where it was like, all right, but like, earlier that they were way stronger, but whatever. You're gonna kind of run into that too. Screenwriting overall, the dialogue was fine. It wasn't, you know, I'm not gonna write home about it. I don't think I could remember a lot of the dialogue. There were some good moments between Cillian Murphy and Millicent Simmons. I gotta remember her name. She was awesome. And even the young kid, he fucking killed it. Cinematography was awesome. As I said, the location plays a role in that because they did a lot of stuff on location in Buffalo, and I obviously know those locations, and the way they brought it to life on the screen gave me like really good hope and like inspiration. It showed me that I can make something Hollywood level in my backyard because they did it. You know what I mean? So that's solid. The way that the cinematography was done actually did very much help the way the visual effects were done. So, you know, explosions, craziness. Michael Bay was involved, I guess. I saw that in the credits. It was in association with him, and that makes a lot more sense, because if you're gonna do this much like crazy set piece action stuff, you might as well learn from Transformer Man. Sound design was great. The way that Reagan's like hearing, Millicent, the way that her hearing, like, you shifted between it. It really only did it in the intro, to be honest, so, you know, it could have been used more. They used it a lot more in the first movie, but that shit is so cool in a theater, especially when they can like suck all the sound out. So I really recommend, if you are gonna see this movie, go see it in theaters, because this shit is like, you gotta like fully be in the movie. The costumes were great. Didn't really have a problem with anything, but I thought it was funny because throughout a good portion of the movie, I was distracted by Emily Blunt's obscenely red pants. Not to say that they were a bad costume choice, but I was just like, wow, those pants are super red. And I don't know why I thought about it. Was it a color science thing that made me not think about the actual movie, but the pants? I don't know. So I'll get into the spoilers section. If you want to skip this, feel free. I would recommend it if you're going to go see the movie. So feel free to do that now. I'll put the time code, whatever. So there was these fucking swamp people, right? Holy goddamn, those guys were more scary than the aliens. Jesus. I did forget a little bit that the whole idea of the movie was that you can't make sounds or else aliens show up when they showed up. And I was like, why aren't they talking? Normally it's like a crazy, like, they do like cryptic words, but they're not even saying anything. That's like way more scary than if they were like, and they like had a knife and they were dirty. Gross. On the other hand, the little island community that was on Grand Island that they ended up finding was cool. I thought that was a really cool, like, safe space that they let us live in for a second, and then immediately, you know, you got to bring us back into the craziness of the world. The Coast Guard was trying to get people to this island because they knew, and then fucking only 2 boats got out. That was a crazy story. So that was a really good, I like that addition in the movie. That was a good addition. Good job. I did have some questions though, so these are some spoilery questions that like didn't get answered in the movie, and I'm like, why? I don't know why Marcus, he fucking just wanders out because he hears a sound in the building, and then finds fucking Emmett's wife that's dead. And I guess that's like a good way you can like introduce that. But it's also like, why the hell would he leave? Like, you're just making this character very unbelievable. I guess a child's wonder children don't make the best decisions, and that could be part of his trait. But it just felt very like, oh, okay, so they have to get him out of the... Like, I felt the screenwriter writing that down as that happened, and that's you can't do that. I will say also that the movie ends way too fast. They definitely, with that ending, should have taken 20 more minutes. Give me 15 more minutes. Just fucking... I'm not saying you gotta explain exactly how they get back, but it just like ends after these two camps are separated, and then they just killed the aliens. So they pretty much ended it on way too big of a cliffhanger. And I feel like they did that in order to make a third movie about that. And that doesn't, I don't like that. Because you should just finish the movie. Like, the characters did change. They did go through their progression and become who they were at the end of the movie. And that is how you should end the movie. But it felt very just cut off. Okay, so minus those spoilers if you watched those. If you didn't, it's all good. I thought the movie was a very good movie. I thought it was engaging. It kept me excited throughout the whole movie. It made me want to like see what happens. The characters were believable to a point, and you know, they did their job in telling the theme and everything well. Obviously, if you like action movies and you like suspense movies, this is going to be up your alley. If you liked the first one but thought it was too like jump scary, this one definitely is more in the speed of a blockbuster, I would say, than an independent horror. So it rides the line well because it doesn't feel like too big. So I think it was a good overall movie. I would probably watch it again. I'm not gonna pay for it again. That definitely was good enough to just see and be like, that was good, and then like tell people to see it. I think overall theaters are the way to see this movie. So if you're gonna watch it, I would say watch it as soon as possible, within the next couple weeks, because you know, shit's going. And I'll close it with this, because this is just the final thought that kind of I took away from this whole thing. When they go over the Grand Island Bridge in the trailer, that is the thing that happens. Looks awesome. Great scene, but if the people of Grand Island are tasked with like being the sanctuary of the apocalypse, I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I wouldn't bet on it. So yeah. So overall, I'll give the movie 7 out of 10. Good movie. I had great performances. Story could have been a little bit better, but it's all good. I thought it was a good watch, and you should go see it. So that's all I have to say. If you want, feel free to watch my other stuff, youtube.com/minkblot, Instagram, Twitter. Check it all out. I talk about movies, I talk about music. If you want to hear more of my opinions, find me somewhere. This is not the apocalypse yet, so let's just try to enjoy the idea of one until then. If you'd like to leave a comment, I would love to hear your thoughts on the movie. I'd like to create a little discussion. We'll go back and forth. DM me. I'll probably respond to you. I don't got much going on. So that's about it. I'll catch you next time I do this. I might do it like once a month or so. I'm thinking of doing movie podcasts with someone, so we'll see how that goes. But for now, adios, goodbye. Have a good day, have a good night. Just overall, what is day without night, you know? We'll leave it at that. Also, zero reason for her to have a baby. Like, to just suck the air out of this whole movie. If she did not have a baby, this would have been a much less, like, suspenseful, much scary. Like, John Krasinski, why you gotta knock up Emily Blunt in the middle of an apocalypse? I get it. If it's a pandemic, that makes sense. You're kind of insular. There's aliens. Everyone's gonna die. So you're like, let's make more babies. Good idea.